Hey, welcome everybody. We're going to spend probably, about a good hour or so together tonight. And as you can see, I'm going to hold a very strong promise to all of you for this training that we're going to do tonight. I will not be wasting your time. Got nothing to sell, but I do have something I think you'll all want. So stick with me and we'll have some fun tonight. And all of this, believe it or not, I'm going to give it to you for free, which is the cool part. So just real quick, probably in the chat box again, who joined us tonight? Do we have any realtors with us tonight at all? Any real estate investors with us? How about any attorneys? Any attorneys on the call with us tonight? Any contractors? How about any home inspectors? So the thing that I always go through on this is kind of why we're all here. You might be a current real estate investor. Most of us, we think about this real estate business. You might have a job that you're just plain sick of. You might be sick and tired of fulfilling your boss's dreams instead of your dreams, which I know that's where I've come from. You might have just a really strong interest in this thing called real estate investing. The bottom line is we all want to do bigger and better things. And real estate is one of the best ways that we can accomplish that dream. What's our background with this Minnesota Wealth Builders? Well, we're located right here in Minneapolis. I'm not some guy that flew in for a quick weekend workshop. I've lived and breathed everywhere in Minnesota. So this is where we're located at. We're an exclusive group that teach local people in this Minneapolis area how to get wealthy with real estate. We provide all of the software, the systems, the coaching, the accountability, the personal playbooks, and every resource that you'll ever need to be successful as a real estate investor in this greater Minneapolis area. We have a strong track record here and have true results-driven systems where we don't make money unless you make money. That's kind of a unique process that most of us don't have anymore. Minneapolis, St. Paul area, all the suburbs, this 7-county metro area is probably the perfect real estate market for flipping houses. We have some of the best real estate, the best steady real estate markets in all of the country. Currently, we do flip houses in about a 20-mile radius of Minneapolis. Within that 20-mile radius, there's about 107 total zip codes, big and small, in that 20-mile radius. We invest in about 71 of the 107 of these zip codes. There's 36 areas that we just simply cannot invest in. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along here, about why and how, and we pick different zip codes over other zip codes. We've all heard about real estate, location, location, location. Well, we kind of take that location, location, location to a completely different level. We're very systems driven. We strongly believe in automation and creating tools that make all of our lives just a whole lot easier in this real estate business. I've done this. This is how I started real estate investing. Most investors will pick the areas to invest in by choosing the areas that they know well. I did that. I know my backyard, so that's where I'm going to start investing in real estate. Frankly, that's got me in trouble more times than I care to talk about, but mostly because I just knew the areas, because I was familiar with the areas. It wasn't a system of how to find the best locations to do the best real estate investing. Technically, I was investing blind. It was just investing in some place that I knew because I'd ride my bike down these streets when I was a kid. That's why 98% of these investors fail. They lose money, they go broke before they make it. They don't have a system of finding where's the best places to invest in real estate, to know where the buyers are that are going to buy these houses that we want to invest in. So smart investors, we buy homes where they already know that buyers are buying. Why do we want to invest our money and our time and our energy into a market area where there's just simply not enough buyers buying houses in a particular zip code? Anybody have any idea what the hottest house flipping area in the Minneapolis is? Well, it's kind of, we have a system we call the sweet spot locator. Find that best house flipping area in the Twin Cities. What is this? What is a sweet spot locator? This is a software that we developed that pinpoints the best areas to buy homes in, your sweet spot. It's 100% data driven, and it tells you the areas where all the buyers are currently buying and the areas where buyers are not currently buying homes. So like I mentioned earlier, you want to be in the area where there's buyers buying homes. You buy a house, put money into it, into a spot where people aren't buying houses, there you sit. You probably lose money. This allows us to make the greatest investing decisions. So we come across a house that we want to invest in. We find out, is this the best place to put that money into? This is how it works. Here's our sweet spot locator. It's a piece of software that we pinpoint. In this case right here, you can see I pinpointed this section right in Minneapolis. We scan the entire radius around Minneapolis. We can pick on this little dial right here to adjust the miles. So right now this is adjusted to 13 miles from the center of Minneapolis. So this kind of gives you can adjust this circle in and out, kind of depending on how far you're willing to invest in. I like to keep my investments within about a half hour of where I live. I don't want to travel 2 hours somewhere to look at a house and see if it works or doesn't work. I want to keep my radius pretty tight so I know I can get there. I know I can service that market and get back. This thing calculates everything for you. So you can see right here, what are these sweet spot numbers? Within that 13-mile radius around the Minneapolis, the center core of Minneapolis, there are 37,543 homes sold. That number comes from the MLS. Everyone knows what the MLS is. That's where all of the market activity that realtors bring to the market. So we know all the homes that have been sold in that particular market for 1 year in that 13-mile radius. The average price is $297,863. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, 1,468 square feet. Now we'll talk about this a little bit deeper, but there's zones that this thing splits out to: prehab zone, a rehab zone, and a wholesale zone. But actually, more importantly, avoid zones. There's zones in here where we just simply don't want to invest in. Some of that is because some of the average sale price might not be quite there, or the houses just aren't moving as quickly as we'd like them to be. So this tells us that in a prehab zone, here's where in this zip code, this is where the most units are sold. This is the average sold price. So we know that there's a lot of activity going on in these zip codes where we want to prehab, and we'll talk about that a little bit deeper as we get into this as well. So now we know where the best zip codes are to be in, but not only that, but the best zip codes not to be in. That's the important part. We want to avoid, we want to know exactly where those houses are that we want to avoid. It might be in your neighborhood, frankly, but at least we know those places we want to avoid to buying homes in. It also tells us when to buy a home and what should do with that home in order to make money. Do we want to rehab it? Do we want to prehab, or do we want to wholesale? This tells us exactly what the exit strategy is to get out of our investment once we find a house that we want to buy. This tells us exactly how to get rid of it. So we have 3 exit strategies. We have wholesale, which we're going to dig deeper into as we go along tonight. Prehab. Now, prehab is kind of a little interesting way of doing houses. Prehab is we don't go in and we don't totally gut the kitchen, we don't totally gut the bathroom, we don't start over, new siding, new windows, all that kind of stuff. We pretty much just kind of do a carpet and paint type of scenario. What we're trying to do is we want to get this house into is just kind of an average house condition. We don't want to put granite countertops in a prehab because that's not an average house. So a prehab kind of is just a little bit of a light remodel. A little bit of paint, so we don't necessarily do all new siding, all new roof. We don't go to that extent. It's a pretty just kind of getting that up to where an average buyer would be looking for a house. Now, of course, a rehab, you're probably familiar with rehabbing houses from all the HGTV TV shots for that. We go in and totally revamp the house, move the kitchen, brand new bathrooms, new windows, new roof, new siding. You might spend 50 grand just doing a rehab. Now we want to make sure we're in the right locations for that rehab because this house is going to be above average in the way it looks and the way we complete this house. So we don't want to be in an average neighborhood with above average house. Therefore, you're going to be sitting on this thing waiting for that above average home buyer. Tonight we only have one time. We're going to cover wholesaling. And wholesaling, we're going to get a little bit deeper into that. Wholesaling is a process of putting a property under contract, and then you assign that contract or resell the property to another investor at a higher price. So you're the one going out there and finding the deal. You're finding this house. You get this house you found under a contract to buy the house. Then we have what's called an assignment of contract to another buyer, probably a rehabber or another contractor or somebody else, to buy that contract from you so they step into your shoes at closing for that house. Let's take a look at an example. Again, you find a house you want to buy, the numbers look good, so you put the property in contract. You find a seller willing to sell you that house for $100,000. You instantly start marketing that contract, looking for a buyer at a higher price. You find a buyer for $110,000. So you assign the original contract that you had with the seller for $100,000. You assign that contract you found. You get to keep the difference in the middle, the 10 grand. What's nice, there's absolutely no money out of your pocket. You never closed on the property. You never had any risk on this property. Now, I need 3 volunteers. So since we're doing a little virtual thing tonight, I can't bring you up on the stage. So here's my volunteers. We've got Eeyore, we got Tigger, we got Piglet, and we got Winnie the Pooh. We're going to do a wholesale assignment, which I talked about earlier. So Eeyore over here has a property. Eeyore is going to sell this property to Tigger for $100,000. So Tigger now has a contract to buy this property from Eeyore for 100 grand. Now, Tigger knows Piglet. Tigger says, "Hey, Piglet, I've got this property over here that I'm under contract for to buy Eeyore's house. Now this house, when it's all fixed up, is going to sell for $200,000 all day long. You want to buy it? I'm going to sell it to you for $110,000." And Piglet goes, "Okay, that's cool. I'm a rehabber. I'm a contractor. I know that I could fix this house up for about 40 grand. So now I'm into it for 110 to Tigger, put another 40 into it. So I'm total into it for 150,000. And I know all day long I can sell this thing for 200. So now what Piglet does, Piglet actually goes to the closing, gives Eeyore his $100,000, So Piglet goes to the closing with the check for $110,000. Eeyore gets his 100, and at the closing, Tigger over here gets his 10 grand. Tigger sold or signed the contract to Piglet, and Piglet took the shoes of Tigger to buy it from Eeyore. So that's called a wholesale assignment. So Tigger makes 10 grand, and Piglet, as the contractor, makes, whatever it might be, $40,000, $50,000. So what's the next thing? So now this is called a double close. So this is where Winnie the Pooh comes in. So again, we had Eeyore at 100 grand. So Eeyore was in it. He wants his $100,000. Tigger over here, remember, he's got the contract for 100 grand. Tigger wants to sell this thing to Piglet for $110,000. So Winnie the Pooh over here, he's got the pot of honey. So over here, Winnie the Pooh gives $110,000 to Tigger so he can close on the contract to buy out Eeyore over here. So that's called a double close. So then in 15 minutes, so right now then Tigger will buy the property, close on the property, and actually own the property, and then turn around and immediately resell it back to Piglet for his $110,000. So in about 15 minutes in between, Tigger now makes $110,000, or makes his $10,000, because Eeyore gets his 100 either way, and Tigger gets his 10. It's called a double close. So Tigger this time actually takes possession of the property with Winnie the Pooh's money, and then turns right around and 15 minutes later closes again to Piglet. So now Piglet owns the property for $110,000, and then Piglet can do what he wants to do, rehab it, fix it up, do whatever he wants to do. So that's called the double close. Make sense to everybody? So that's the two ways. There's a wholesale assignment where you have a piece of paper, you have a contract, and within that contract, you have an assignment that you can assign that to anybody else that puts you into your shoes for that seller. Or you continue to close on that and you own the property for a certain period of time until you can resell it over to Piglet after that. There is one major problem with wholesaling. Almost everybody is doing it wrong and doing it illegal. There's two major problems we run into with this wholesaling. It's a great way to exit out of property, but there's two major problems. Most people, when they wholesale, think they go ahead and they put a bunch of properties under contract. So they tie it up so a seller can't sell it to anyone else. So once that seller has a contract to sell it to someone, they can't turn around and resell it to somebody else because they already have a contract on it. Now, the biggest issue with that is most investors just run around just getting all these properties under contract so they can't resell them to somebody else. So they lock up properties, if you will. And do they have any intention of really buying it or not? Well, we don't know. So what they do is lock up all these properties under contract, turn around and try and find their buyer who they can assign the contract to. Now, for some whatever reason, I don't know what it might be, they can't find their buyer. So now what do? They got a contract over here to buy Eeyore's property. So what they're doing is they just telling Eeyore, oh, sorry, bud, I'm out of here. I'm not going to close on your property. So tough. That's just plain wrong. The second thing is they'll market for their investor once they have that contract with Eeyore by marketing the house. So they go out and market, they put an ad on Facebook or Craigslist or wherever the case might be and say, hey, I've got this house for sale, 123 Main Street. You want to buy it from me? Let me know. Well, they don't own the house. They own a contract to buy the house. So if you don't own the house, you can't market the house. That's illegal. That's a problem. Only if you own the house can you market the house to buy it. So they're not marketing the contract, they're marketing the house. That's illegal, and you can't do that. So you need to market the contract. Now there's ways to do that on Facebook or Craigslist, whatever the case might be. But most people, most investors will get that contract and turn around and say, hey, you want to buy this house, and put a picture up that it's really a cool house. Now, there are wholesaling police. Every state in the country has a Department of Commerce that monitors and administers rules and regulations for real estate. So there's the Department of Commerce that watch this stuff. So if Eeyore is complaining that, hey, you didn't go through with my contract, and Eeyore calls up the Minnesota Department of Commerce and files a complaint, that's going to get Tigger's butt in a big sling because he didn't do what he was told to do. So now the investigation is going to go after Tigger to find out exactly why he didn't do that. This gentleman right here, this is one of the big advantages that we have. This gentleman, his name is Mr. Watson. Jeff Watson is an attorney. He's based out of Ohio. He is the national expert on real estate wholesaling law. Nobody knows real estate law in this country better than he does. This is the Department of Commerce in Ohio, where he's based out of, that he's actually teaching the Department of Commerce how to do wholesale law. He's actually teaching them how the Department of Commerce in Ohio puts together their training programs for realtors to watch for the correct way in contract law. This gentleman is a resource that puts together all of our information, all of our contracts, how to wholesale, how not to wholesale, and how to keep us out of trouble. This guy teaches states how to do this, and he's on our board with us. So when you do it right, it goes right. Here's a check. $44,603.07. This is a wholesale deal. How many of you would love to have one of these checks? Just one of these checks. When you do it right. $44,603. What if you got two of them? This one's even bigger. $45,335. Double your fund. What if you got 8 of these checks? Here's a bank account that was started just for this one particular deal. $40,000, $50,000, $35,000, $38,000, $89,000, $81,000. Total deposits, $342,290.41. All of these were a wholesale deal, all 8 of these. This is one bundle that came through. Here's the 8 houses. There's a gentleman that put together this deal. These are 8 houses in a package, one package that was completed. His name is Butch. Butch, not that long ago, sat in exactly the same position you are in one of these workshops. Now, Butch went out and found these 8 houses. There's actually part of a 31 package deal that we cherry picked with Butch, these 8 houses. Butch didn't find any of these deals. Butch didn't fix up any of these deals. Butch didn't fund any of these deals. Butch didn't even make the monthly payments on $250,000 loan he got from a private lender within our group. He didn't have any risks in those deals. This was all came through our group, within our people within our group. So these deals came to our group. We got these deals. We took 8 of the deals of the 31, the best ones, said, hey, Butch, you're a contractor. You want to fix up these deals. the money, the funding, everything's about funding, came through a private lender within our group as well. So they're willing to fund the loan to buy these 8 properties. Butch then turned around and wholesaled these 8 properties within another member of our group. So he didn't have any risks on these deals. He didn't come up with any of his own money. He didn't even find the deals. He was given these deals to manage and get through and wholesale these things to another member of our group. Wholesaling is only one way to make money in real estate. It's a great way, but it's just only one way to make money in real estate. What do you think the average time it takes us to wholesale a deal within our group? Just real quick in the chat, what do you think? Well, in Butch's case, the leads came through our MWB. He wholesaled through another contractor in our MWB. Two months, 1 month. Well, buckle up. Here we go. This was the average time it takes us to wholesale a deal within our group. 7 minutes.
Wow.
We get a property. We turn around within our group. This is the advantage of the group. Within our group, we turn around, we get a property, give it to one others to wholesale it. We wholesale it within our group. We get a funder within our group to fund that property. It literally takes 3 phone calls and we're good to go. 7 minutes. So I was challenged, said, okay, if you're so good, why don't you teach people how to flip houses for free? And you get paid and I get paid. Yeah. So in September, we thought, okay, let's do this. Let's accept this. Here's some people we've taught for Minneapolis already that do this now. Most of these guys, quite frankly, are part-time investors. They still have a full-time job. One of them jumped into it full-time and doing really quite well. Now, we feel most training and coaching programs are flawed. I have spent 7, 8 years ago an embarrassing amount of money on coaching programs. Without naming names, I've written some big checks to some big problems, to big coaching programs. You know, anywhere from 25 grand to $50,000 up front they want. That's up front. And somebody flies in from out of town, they set up the big room, they pull in 200 people, and then at the end of the program, the Guido push to sell you the coaching program. They sit you down and you're eyeball to eyeball. It's kind of like buying that timeshare in Mexico. You're not leaving until you're buying something. Well, I got sucked into it and I've spent money on the coaching program. What I found and what upset me the most is the training isn't broken down very well. It's completely out of order. Now, they have to give you something. They're in here, they just took a lot of your money, so they got to give you something in return. So they're giving you a lot of stuff. But what do you do with that stuff? Where do you start? Where's your roadmap? What's the first thing you do? What's the second thing you do? What's the third thing you do? I don't know. Is it an order? And it's just not broken down very well in that. Here's a lot of webinars to go on our website and have some fun. Every one of them has a personal coach. I had a personal coach. They almost never know your backyard market. So they really can't coach you or hold you accountable like you need to because it's too virtual. My personal coach was in Pennsylvania. Now, it sounded great and he was a great guy and it was some good conversations. It was all phone calls, it was all phone conversations. How does a guy in Pennsylvania really know what we're doing here in Minneapolis or know how I want to do something in Minneapolis? from Pennsylvania. Never came here, never met him. It was only through a phone call. I don't work very well that way. I want to know somebody that I can go to Starbucks and sit down and say, hey, what about this deal? It's over here in Rosemount. What do you think about that? Work through the numbers and work through the process. This is exactly where I was. You were the student. You feel alone. You feel it's all up to you. And you realize this when you find your first deal, and my coach isn't there to help me make money. It's exactly what I did. I really wasn't quite sure. Yeah, I went through all their training and did their webinars and did them a number of times over and over and over again. And I came up with a deal. I was all excited. This was a house in Apple Valley. All the numbers looked good. It was so cool. So I call up my guy in Pennsylvania and he said, yeah, looks good. What are you going to do? Well, I don't know. You're my coach. How do we do this? What's the next step? What's the proper contract? How do we get this under contract? How do I get this funded? We got it funded. Now, how do I get it to the closing table? What do I do at the closing? What papers do I sign? What don't I sign? How do I get the deed to the property? When is it mine? How do I know it's mine? How do I find contractors that aren't going to screw me over? What's the cost of putting this together? What do I do once I get the house fixed? How do I market? All of those things. This guy's in Pennsylvania trying to do this over the phone just wasn't working. I felt I was totally out on this island all by myself. That's why we're doing this Minnesota Wealth Builders. The funding, I mentioned that earlier. This is the big flaw that I found in these coaching programs. So good luck with this funding. So here I am, maxed out on credit cards or my IRA or wherever my money was from for a tremendous amount of cash. 25, 50 grand isn't chump change. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of money to spend. Embarrassingly, I spent more than that over the years, but nonetheless, I wanted the training and the education. It was good education, but it was just education. So now a lender is going to want to lend me money with that amount of debt also tied to me. But the training said, okay, no problem. Use other people's money. You might have heard that. Use other people's money. And this training goes to show you how to raise private funds, right? Well, what I found is no private lender is going to lend me money on my very first house I've ever done. That was in Apple Valley, Minnesota, without any experience. I'd never done this before. And frankly, I was concerned about pitching myself in front of a lender because you feel uncomfortable because you know they're not going to lend you money, that you're just some guy that just doing this first house, has never done anything like this before. So yeah, give me a couple $100,000 of your cash. Trust me, I'll make this work for you. Well, they don't. And yeah, I'm sounding like I'm bashing, but I'm not bashing. I'm just telling you the truth on what most coaching is setting you up for failure. Personal experience, I've been there, done that. That's why I'm kind of on my soapbox here a little bit. But we're a little bit different, exactly for this reason why. I want to do something completely different. The cost. We're willing to give you our proprietary systems, information. Here's the big key, we're going to hold you accountable, but we're also going to be the boots on the ground. We're your coach here in Minneapolis. We're not in Pennsylvania. We don't fly in for the weekend and fly out on Sunday night. We're here in Minneapolis. Do all this for free, saving you that $25,000 to $50,000 so you don't go into debt. This is all free. Our training is in order and it's completely step by step. We have an earn while you learn system. You're going to earn money while you're learning how to do this step by step with all of us beside you. We're here in Minneapolis. We've always been here in Minneapolis. This is where I'm based. This is where I'm from. We know the area inside and out. We only get paid when you get paid. It sets you up for success. It's truly a results-driven system. You've got us guiding you. We'll help you find deals. Sometimes, frankly, deals come to us and we just hand you the deals and the leads. We're here for your success. The funding. This is why we're very different. We already have a network of lenders who will fund deals for you. We also have private lenders within inside our club that could care less about your past or your credit score. You're part of our system, you're part of our group, you're part of our club. The private lenders know the value of what we bring and how we can solve these problems to get this accomplished. That's where we're different. You don't make money. We don't make money. It's 100% results driven. So, anyone here? This is an excuse maker. Go up in the chat box and just tell me. Anybody here? This is an excuse maker? Nah. I'll admit again, I probably would used to be. I could find some reason, whatever that might be, family issue, a time issue, a money issue. I could find an excuse for not doing something. That's an excuse maker. We're not excuse makers. We want to find a solution. If an excuse comes up, what that is screaming at you saying, well, we need to find a solution to get by this. It's not something to just, okay, I've got this problem, so it's not going to work. No, you've got this problem. Let's find a solution to get beyond that problem. And that's why we're here. That's what we do. It's all about creating win-win situations. We'll go back to Butch. We created a win-win situation. That lead came into us. We then gave that lead to Butch. Butch then wholesaled that lead to someone else within our group that was going to rehab those properties. Also, someone within our group lent Butch the money so he could continue to buy those projects. So Butch won, rehabber won, private lender won, and we got paid when Butch got paid. That's the true win-win situation that we want to look for. Everybody wins on this thing. So that's the situation we want to create. So how many of you people are win-win people? I bet the majority of here are win-win people. That's the solutions we want to find. Every real estate has an opportunity for win-win situations. Let's find out what that might be. How many of you are willing to do what it takes to be successful? This can be a brutal business. Real estate can be brutal. It's not easy. It isn't a quick get rich scheme. This takes time, it takes energy, and it takes a lot of grit, quite frankly. You're going to run into a lot of people who are just kind of in your face about, what do you mean you want to buy my property? Frankly, it takes a lot to go from one to the next to the next. There's a lot of slam the door in your face. So you have to be willing to do what it takes to be successful. But once you get to that win-win situation, it truly is a win-win, and you can win very, very well. So I have you, this is your first win-win situation. This is a 6-week course. Today's the first one of 6 weeks. So I've got you all auto-enrolled for the next 5 weeks to teach you the insides of wholesaling. We're going to focus on wholesaling here, so we've only got 6 weeks. There's rehabbing and prehabbing and all that other kind of stuff, but we only have time in the next 6 weeks to really dive deep into wholesaling, so you can really figure that out. So we're going to do heavy into finding deals. All of this is for free, so you can get into your earn while you learn system. There's 4 core systems we're going to focus on really hard over the next 5 weeks with you. Finding the deals. This is probably the biggest. What do we need to do to uncover these hidden gold mines and, frankly, not spend a penny doing it? We're going to show you how to do that, how we do that, how do we find these deals, the real behind the scenes type of stuff. We're going to show you the legal way to wholesale real estate. We talked about that a little bit earlier. There's a ton of different ways that you can get tripped up in this whole business of real estate. We're going to show you the legal way to do this. The right way. We've got the contracts, we've got the systems in place already to go for the right way to wholesale real estate. That ties back into how to properly market your wholesale deals and have them sold immediately for top dollar. Now, we can still market wholesale deals through all of the social media channels, the Craigslist, or the blogs, or the posts, whatever it might be, but it's got to be done right. It's got to be done legal. There's a wrong way of doing it. It's going to get yourself in trouble. And there's a right way we can do it that'll keep yourself out of trouble. We're going to keep you out of trouble. That's the win-win opportunity. We're going to even go out during this next 5 weeks, and we're going to go out and we're going to look at potential deals together. We're going to analyze, we're going to look at a real house in Minneapolis somewhere. We're going to go and see that. We're going to analyze this house. Hell, we might even buy the house then too. So we're going to go see this thing and show you exactly how to analyze this, how to find if it's a good deal, if it's not a good deal.
You don't see me? Sorry. I'm just trying to fix this.
And I'm only here to get you doing deals and do them with you. That's the whole thing. I'm not from Pennsylvania trying to talk to you on the phone. I'm here. We're going to do this together, and we're going to get deals done together with you. Now, in exchange for this little club called Minnesota Wealth Builders, I'm going to give you your proprietary information and systems for free. We've got a ton of systems that we've developed that work very, very well. A lot of automation. As you can see, everything, all of your contact to get you here tonight was all automated. I didn't do a thing. It was all automated. Coaching you along for these 5 weeks for free. That's unlimited coaching. It's not, okay, I'll give you an hour a week and that's all you get. This is coaching whatever it takes to get you to get your deals done. It's not a limited situation. We're going to go all in. We're going to help you make money in real estate for free. We just want to split all the profits on the deals that we help you do evenly. That's the catch. That's the pitch right there. You probably are all wondering, okay, where's the pitch? Where's the pitch? There it is. We just want to split the profits on the deals we help you do evenly. Now, for the next 5 weeks, we're going to meet every Thursday at the same time. So the next 5 Thursdays in a row, they're all in October and all at 6:30. And the nice thing is you never have to leave the comfort of your home. All of these are going to be virtual on your computer. We used to do these face-to-face, but obviously with this whole COVID stuff, this is why we're here today on these Zoom meetings. So we're all doing this on the computer. So from the comfort of your home for the next 5 Thursdays in a row, 6:30, 6:30, and you're going to get reminders of when it's time to do that. Again, it's the system. It's all automated. So what's next? So we do need to sign a 5-week agreement in order to move forward. We've got a lot of this systems, this proprietary information, my time, your time, it's all valuable time. I need to make sure that you're all in with me because I'm going to be all in with you. So for the next 5 weeks, we're going to start doing deals together. So it's a 1-page agreement basically saying that we're all in with each other on this for 5 weeks. We're going to send everybody a text tomorrow also to confirm these meeting locations and the time for next Thursday so you can have it on your phone and on your calendar. So what I'm going to do next is in the chat box, I'm going to put a link in here. This is the link for this 1-page contract. It's a Google form. So I need you to download that onto your browser so you can pull up that form, fill it out with your name and address and all that other good stuff. Fill out that form and then send that back. You'll see way at the bottom of the form, it says there's a page down that you send it back. So check that link and make sure you've got that. Fill out that form. We'll give you a couple minutes here. This is one of my favorite pictures. I love this picture.
Where did you put the link?
It's in the chat box. So go up and you find the chat box. And the link should be right in there. Let me see here. All right, let me do the link again.
Where's it at, sir?
Try that again, the chat box. See if you can find the chat box there.
So do you go in the upper corner to where it says more at? Okay, now I got it.
Got it?
I just got
Okay.
it too.
Chat box. It's got like an HTTPS docs.google. So copy that link and put it in a browser so you can open it up. It's the best way to do it.
What?
Find it?
I still haven't found the link.
Okay.
No, I'm lost too.
Me either.
No link?
I just see. Yeah.
All right, let me.
I have a question mark in mine. Let's see.
Did you put link?
Find the link, the chat box.
I just see link and then a question mark.
Right.
I'm getting the same.
If somebody that has the link, can they drop it in the chat box and so we can copy it then?
Try that again.
Yeah, I don't see the link either.
Nothing? Okay.
I only see the messages everybody's typing, but there's no link there.
Gotcha. All right. Let me see what we got here. Still nothing?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Zoom isn't cooperating too good, huh?
Well, if it's just not gonna paste, would you mind just like reading it and we could just type it?
Right.
No, or send out a group text. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I'll do that. I've got all of you guys here on the call tonight, and I'll turn around and do a group out of the Zoom chat here because obviously that's not working. So I'll get you all that link yet tonight because I've got everybody that's here. So we'll do a group send with that link so you all can do that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Zoom isn't working. Okay, nothing. Ernesto, still nothing for you?
No, nothing.
All right. I'll do that. Okay. We'll get you under a different group and I'll send that out under a group message so you all can have that.
Who?
We'll try one more time here.
You had said that link, we just fill it out online? Or is
Yeah.
it printed out?
Yeah, it's just a Google form. And then Google will send that right over to me.
There you go. The link just.
There we go.
Did it
Yeah, I
pop up?
just got.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I just got it.
Got it too? Okay.
Yes.
it must took time.
Got it.
Awesome. Looks like you guys got it now. Okay. Cool. Good. As long as you got it, pull that up. Take a couple minutes. To fill that out. And then, like I say, at the very bottom of that form should be a button that says to send it. And then I'll get all that. It'll send it right back to me as well. Okay, everybody good with the link?
Yes.
Okay. While you guys are filling that out, I'm sure you got some questions. Type them out quick in the chat box. That's probably the best way to get a question to me. So we don't have everybody talking at the same time. So throw a question into the chat box while you're working on that link and getting that sent back.
Let's see.
Questions, guys? Selena says, how many deals can we be a part of during the 6 weeks? Any number you want. Here's what I say. Any number you want. If you've never done a deal, let's just get one. Let's just get one done. So we can start building up some traction, building up how to do this. So if you've never done a deal, let's just start with one. We'll get one deal. Then we go to 2, then we go to 4, then we go to 8. Most of you, frankly, I think you probably know somebody that's got a deal, but you never really looked at it that way. So most of you probably have a deal right in your backyard. You don't even know it. That's kind of the cool thing about this. So do as many as you want, but I just say, just start with one. Let's just get one done. And that's how you can get going. Ernesto, how much is it after the 6 weeks to continue the program? Right now, Ernesto, I want to get through the 6 weeks. Is there opportunities to continue together? Yeah, there is. Frankly, we need to find out, you may not like me, I may not like you, to see if we want to keep going or not. So let's get through the 6 weeks. Let's get some deals under your belt. And then, yeah, we can have a conversation after that. Here's a coach that tells me it never costs you anything. You're always investing in something. But like I say, again, I've been through the pay up front type of thing, and I'm not going to do that again. You make money, I make money. That's how we all roll in this thing. How are we doing on the form?
Cool, just reading through the agreement.
Andrew, like I just mentioned, after the class is over, where do we go from here? I'm just telling Ernesto that, you know, let's get through the 6 weeks. Let's get you a deal, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many deals. Let's get you a deal. Is there opportunities after the 6 weeks? We could have a relationship for the rest of our lives, quite frankly. But let's get through the 6 weeks, and then we'll kind of go from there and see where we're at. Like I just told Ernesto, I don't know if I like him. He doesn't know if he likes me. Before we can get into a lifetime relationship here. So we have to date a little bit before we get married. Keep going. Any more questions? The other classes, we really do dive deep in 2 through 6. You get pretty heavy duty into some stuff. Most people wonder how long this takes. Today is probably a little shorter than the others. Block out 2 hours. Now, I'm not saying I'm not on a timer, so I don't know if it's going to be 2 hours or not, but I want you to block that out in your head, just so you've got that time, you've got that available. Don't block 1 hour and then all of a sudden you bolt on me and getting into the good stuff. Frankly, it takes about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes usually to get through some of these things, and you're going to have some questions. So please, on your calendar, block out 2-hour blocks of time each Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30. And now we'll be safe and we'll get through some stuff pretty comfortably. What else you guys got? Any more questions for me? Sorry, Ernesto, I'm picking on you because you're the first one up there in your picture. So. How's the form? Does that link work? Are you guys able to get that link and get that form?
Yeah, I just sent mine in.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, mine's is complete.
Frankly, I'll be honest with you. I treat that form kind of like your Willy Wonka golden ticket for the rest of the process. Without that form, I'm going to have a hard time giving up my time and my proprietary information to someone that I know isn't as committed to this as I am to you. So take that for what it's worth, but I'm going to have a hard time without the form continuing our relationships. Any limits to the kind of housing deal is made on? Apartments, commercial, housing. We focus on, we can do all those things. All of those things can be wholesaled, all of those things can be prehabbed, all of those things can be rehabbed. All of those things have investment real estate opportunities. In this 6 weeks, we're going to focus on single family houses. Frankly, that's kind of I'm going to say the easiest, for lack of a better word, but a single family house, most everybody's comfortable with a single family house, knows a single family house, and understands what that house is, but more importantly, knows the seller of a single family house. When you start getting into apartments and commercial, that's a whole different seller and a whole different seller mentality that we have to work with on commercial apartments strip centers, strip malls, whatever the case might be. Then you're getting into pension fund owners and a whole different ball of worms with just seller mentalities. This is, I'm not exactly sure on necessarily how many programs you provided like this. I'm associated with a group that does this on a national basis, and they're based out of Ohio. And I've teamed up with them to provide this process, if you will, here in Minneapolis. This is a 6-week course to start with. We're going to be doing this periodically through the year of 6 weeks. And we want to get you focused on how to find deals. That's the biggie. How to find them, then how to fund them, and then what to do with them once you've got it. So you're kind of like the dog who catches a car. Okay, now I've caught the car. Now what the heck do I do with this thing? That's what we're going to focus on in the next 2 to 6 weeks. A couple more minutes, guys, for some questions or to get the form sent in. And then you can go to Jimmy John's and get something to eat. I'm hungry. I should have ate something before I started this thing, but I'm hungry now. Any problem tonight, guys, with, I'm guessing not with the screen or the sound or any of that type of stuff. I haven't heard anybody complaining about that outside of the link problems we had. So I think we're good to go for next Thursday too. Sometimes Zoom can be a little bit goofy. Thank you. Appreciate that. Video and audio work fine. Thank you. Well, I'm going to go back. Maybe not. So please, don't procrastinate on that form. I have in the past, and I regretted everything about that. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. We want to do some stuff together. The sweet spot locator, I'm kind of whipping through here fast. This is a cool thing, the sweet spot locator. Not something to sell you. I can't sell you anything, but it's part of the program that we'll do. That just kind of gives you a taste of some of the other. I love automation. We love systems, and so much of the stuff is automated. So much of the stuff is the system. It gives you a step-by-step process of what to do. That's the beauty of all of this. So any more questions, guys? If not, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get something to eat. I'm starved. You guys get something to eat too. And don't forget, next Thursday, 6:30 at the same time in the same Zoom. And I'll send you out a reminder, and we'll meet up again. So get that form sent in to me. All right, y'all. Appreciate everything. Thanks for stopping in this morning. This evening. And look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you, Brad.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See ya.
Thank you.